All right, let's get into it. So, if you've ever played around with JavaScript on a simple web page, you know that amazing feeling of making things move and change on a screen. It's fantastic for building what you might call a digital cottage. But what happens when your ambition gets bigger? What if you need to build a digital skyscraper, something huge and complex like Netflix or Google Docs? Well, that's where JavaScript frameworks come in. And today, we're going to break down why you absolutely need. This quote just nails it, right? Trying to build a massive application using only the basics is like trying to build a skyscraper by hand, literally placing every single brick one by one. It's not just slow, it's a complete recipe for chaos. The tools that work for a small cottage just don't cut it when you're building a skyscraper. So let's really dig into this core idea: the difference between building digital cottages and digital skyscrapers. Your standard or vanilla JavaScript is perfect for those cottages, but it starts to break down and fast when you try to build something massive. To build that skyscraper, you're going to need way better tools. You don't want individual bricks. You want prefabricated walls, smart modular building kits. And in the world of web development, JavaScript frameworks are exactly those kits. They give you the structure and the efficiency you need to build something huge without the whole thing collapsing into a mess. Okay, so what is this logistical nightmare we keep talking about? Why does using pure JavaScript for a big project actually fall apart? Let's get specific and break down the real, painful problems that developers run into. When you're trying to build that skyscraper with just the basics, it really boils down to three huge problems that just keep popping up again and again. First up, you've got spaghetti code. This is where all your logic gets tangled up into an unreadable, unmanageable mess. Second, unnecessary repetition. I mean, just imagine having to code 100 nearly identical product cards one by one. And third, the biggest headache of them all: state management. This is the nightmare of trying to manually keep track of all your application's data and then remembering to update the screen every single time something changes. And honestly, that last one, state management, is the real monster here. Manually keeping track of every little piece of data, a user's name, their login status, what's in their shopping cart, and then having to write even more code to update the screen every time, it's a disaster waiting to happen. This is the single biggest challenge that frameworks were invented to solve. So how do frameworks fix all this? Well, they start by introducing a totally revolutionary way of thinking. Instead of building web pages, you build with components. And the best way to picture this? Think of it like building with smart, prefabricated Legos. So what exactly is a component? Well, yes, it's a reusable building block, but it's more than that. It's like its own little self-contained mini application. Think about a search bar or a user profile button. Each one is built, styled, and programmed to work completely on its own, ready to be plugged into your site wherever you need it. And that's why this smart Lego metaphor is just so perfect. Each piece knows what it is, what it's supposed to do, and how it's supposed to look, all by itself. This one simple idea is the first major step in solving those huge architectural problems we were talking about. For instance, take a user profile component. This single smart Lego has everything it needs to function, all packed inside. Its structure, its styling, its logic, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, it's all bundled together. The code that makes the follow button work lives right inside this one reusable piece. And here's where it gets amazing. You build that user profile component just once, but you can use it hundreds of times across your site. And the real magic: if you ever want to change the design, you don't edit hundreds of profiles. You just change the one master component, the blueprint, and bam, every single one updates automatically. The unnecessary repetition problem? Completely solved. Okay, that takes care of repetition. But what about that biggest challenge, the state management nightmare? This brings us to the second revolutionary concept, and frankly, the main magic of frameworks: reactivity. Reactivity is basically the framework's superpower. It automatically forges a live connection between your application's data, what developers call the state, and the actual web page the user sees, the DOM. The state is just all the information your app needs to remember, like a username. The framework essentially says, don't worry, I'll watch this data for you, and I promise to instantly update the screen if it ever changes. This comparison really tells the whole story.
The old way was this manual, two-step chore. First, you had to find the element on the page, and second, you had to write more code to change its text. With a framework, you just do one thing. You change the data. You simply say the username is now Hottie, and that's it. You're done. The framework is watching that variable. The moment it changes, the framework itself does all the heavy lifting. It finds every single place on the page that displays the username and updates it for you instantly. That logistical nightmare of tracking everything yourself is over. You manage the data, the framework manages the screen. It's a total game changer. So we know we need these smart building kits. But, just like in the real world, they come in different flavors with different philosophies. You have to ask yourself, are you the type of builder who wants a flexible Lego kit, a modern IKEA kit, or a complete prefabricated house?
The three giants in the space map perfectly to this idea. First, you've got React. Think of it as the powerful Lego kit. It gives you these incredible flexible building blocks, but it expects you to bring your own tools for some other parts of the job. Then there's Angular, which is the full prefab house. It's an all-in, opinionated system where a lot of decisions are made for you, ensuring everything just works together. And finally, you have Vue, which is like the modern IKEA kit. It's approachable, very easy to get started with, and offers a beautiful balance by including a bit more out of the box than React.
But here's something that is absolutely crucial to remember. Frameworks don't replace JavaScript. They're powerful tools that are built on top of it. Learning a framework makes you a much more effective builder, someone who can actually tackle those digital skyscrapers. It enhances your skills. It doesn't erase them. So, you've picked your tools, you've built your amazing skyscraper, but there's one final huge question. In our world, a building doesn't just sit there. It has to look great everywhere, on a giant TV screen, and on a tiny little phone. So how do we make that happen? Well, that sounds like a topic for our next explainer.